Good evening, everyone. Welcome. Thank you for coming. I first wanted to start off by introducing myself. My name is Shelby, and I will be your child's teacher for the next 6 months ish, depending on their age. I have 5 years of experience along with community service. I also have a bachelor's degree in early childhood education, and I am very passionate about the children that I teach and what I teach. I first wanted to start off by asking everyone their perspective on toddler discipline, and then I wanted to go into how I plan on disciplining, not necessarily disciplining, but correcting behavior that I don't really like in my class. Because at this young of an age, how do you discipline somebody when they don't know right from wrong exactly yet? But then I was going to go into some tips I read in an article from parents.com, and then I wanted to kind of explain how I would deal with a situation that might not be ideal to my classroom. So first off, I wanted to ask everyone what their thoughts on discipline is, whether you think it should be actually disciplining or just correcting bad behavior. So from what I'm gathering, based on what everyone is saying, I think that everyone is leaning more towards the side of correcting bad behavior rather than disciplining, and that too is on where I'm at with everything, especially doing this for 5+ years at this point. I really do agree with correcting a bad behavior rather than disciplining for a bad behavior. The difference between correcting a bad behavior and disciplining is discipline, you put them in timeout, make them stop what they're doing, but correcting is showing them what they did wrong, how to do it right, explaining to them why that's not okay and what makes it not okay. So those are just some differences. Disciplining, you also just completely remove the child from the situation rather than helping them learn how to fix that behavior. Especially, in my opinion, especially at that age, it's a lot more helpful to their learning and development to correct the behavior rather than just remove them from the situation and acting like they don't, pretty much acting like they didn't even do it when they come back from timeout or taking a break, whatever it may have been. I do think that depending on the situation, there may need to be discipline actions taken rather than correcting it. But as for how I plan to correct bad behavior in my classroom, I first wanted to start off by giving an example. Say, for example, one kid gets frustrated that a kid took their toy. Because this is a 1.5 to 2-year-old classroom, they don't really know how to communicate verbally, hey, could you please give that back? Something along those lines. So say their friend took their toy and they're frustrated and they just want it back because they had it first. That's every kid's reaction. They say they hit their friend or bite their friend, one of those two that really should not be okay, especially in the school setting. I would first start off by consoling the child that got hit or got bitten, consoling them, making sure they're okay, making sure there's no broken skin, no anything, and then washing off that bite if that's what it was. But I would want to do that in a timely manner so that the kid that hit them or bit them doesn't forget about what they did, and they're just like, oh, yeah, I got my toy back, this is great. So once I help console that kid that was the victim, I will then go over to the one that hit or bit, whatever it may be, and first off, you want to get down to eye level so that they know, like, this means business. And then you want to ask them, was that okay? Do we hit our friends? That's not very nice. Like, asking, do we hit our friends? And at this young of an age, they're not going to say, oh yes, oh no, like, whatever it may be. They're just going to give you deer in headlights, basically. But at this age, that's fine. This is all about learning and development. And then once I ask the question, I will then explain, no, we don't hit our friends. That's not nice. We don't want to hurt our friends. We want to play with our friends. If they make you frustrated, we need to ask nicely, could I please have that? Obviously, they won't know what frustrated means, everything like that. But if you are able to teach them to try to help them communicate the words, hey, could I please have my toy back? Or please helping them to communicate nicely with their friends rather than getting frustrated, hitting, or biting. Another way and then once that is over, I will plan to have them hug their friend, just making sure that the friendship, the peace, everything is still there. I realize at that young of an age, they won't know, for example, oh, I'm so mad at them, I don't want to play with them anymore. But I think at that young of an age, helping them to not only the child that got bitten or kicked or hit, whatever it may be, not only teaching them that to forgive and then keep playing, but also teaching the other one to say sorry and, oh, I'm sorry. Because at that age, they are able to sometimes communicate the word sorry, like 1 or 2 word phrases they're able to communicate. So I think by helping them to get those words out and help communicate how they feel and, oh, sorry, like, it's okay, whatever that may be. So now I want to move on to what parents.com, the 2 articles I read from there, say you should do for toddler discipline. The first thing is to stay positive. When you're disciplining a toddler, you don't want to say, oh, that was so naughty, why would you do that? Like, you're such a bad kid. You want to say, oh no, that wasn't nice. Maybe we should ask nicely next time, something along those lines. Another one is being consistent. You cannot discipline a toddler for one thing at this moment and then the next moment for the same exact thing. You don't discipline it, you just kind of brush it off. That's not going to help them to learn, oh, this isn't okay, so we need to stay consistent. Showing them exactly how to play nicely is also a really good idea because it helps them to understand why it's important to play nicely. Praising them when they have good behavior is also a really big one. It helps to enforce good behavior when you're like, oh, good job, that was really nice of you to say please, whatever it may be. And then keeping it short and simple, because toddlers don't have a super, super long attention span, keeping it short and simple will help them to soak in the information that you're providing them, I suppose you could say. So obviously, just oh, was that nice? No, could you go give them hugs? Something along those lines would be the best option for toddlers. And that is really all of the information that parents.com says to go about toddler discipline or correcting bad behavior. And since I kind of already explained how I would deal with the situation while I was explaining the situation, I think that is the end of my little gathering tonight. So I just again wanted to thank all of you for being here and taking the time to come meet me. I am very excited to have your kids for the year, the 6 months, whatever it may be based on their age. I do want to ask before everyone goes, how many of you guys wouldn't be opposed to trying correcting bad behavior versus disciplining your toddler? Just maybe so that it's consistent at school and at home. I just wanted to get a show of hands on how many think that this might be the option for them. So I guess most of you guys wouldn't be opposed to trying the correcting bad behavior. So thank you guys again so much for coming out to meet me. I am very excited to see your kids and interact with them, get to know you guys over the next time period there in my class. So thank you guys so much and have a great rest of your evening. Goodbye.